Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. New England gets more at 24.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Chris?
What's up, Giles?
That was fun.
You know what's up is these chairs are super close.
They are very close.
I don't know what to do with what they do in this room. Some days we're like 9 feet apart. If you're watching on the YouTube version, you can see we are almost touching knees. It's a very cozy edition of the Celtics Talk podcast. But also up is the Celtics win total, another victory. This time, taking care of the Cleveland Cavaliers, sweeping the season series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3-0 on the start of a daunting road trip. But I wanted to bring you in here today. What were your impressions of Jason Tatum? Game 2. This will be a nightly recurring segment, I suspect, over the final 20 games of the season.
Yeah.
What did you think of Jason Tatum's performance?
I thought it was really encouraging that, especially since what we saw in Game 1 was it took Tatum a little while to kind of figure things out, to get comfortable on the floor. And his best stretch of Game 2 was the first quarter. His 8 minutes that he played in the first quarter, where he had 12 points, grabbed a couple of rebounds and assist. Keeping in mind, too, is as much as the Celtics controlled this game, Cleveland jumped out to an 11-3 lead. True. So Celtics had a bit of a response there, and Tatum was a part of it. But the fact that he seemed comfortable and looked pretty much, as far as that quarter goes, looked pretty much back to normal in that first quarter.
To the point where I was like, wait, are we sure that, how is he doing this?
Yeah.
It was almost unfathomable how good he was. It's almost like that stretch in the second quarter the other night where the putback dunk just sort of unlocked him. But from the jump, I was like, wait, is he just back to all-NBA Tatum? Now the three-point shot went cold in the second quarter. He had some weird stretches. They're trying to figure out how to navigate it. I don't know what the number is. For the first time, I think he said, yeah, I'm on a minute restriction, which Joe Mazzulla was like, I don't know anything about. So they're trying to figure out what's the length of each segment you can play. I think the other night it was 6 minutes in the first quarter, came back for 6-7 more in the second. And so if you're lingering in that, let's say 28 is his cap right now, it's hard to dice that up. That means for at least half of the game he's on the bench. And but I mean, credit to him, he's kind of just dealing with that. He has to understand that's just part of the way it's going to be as he navigates the return. But oh my God, first quarter.
Yeah.
How in the world is he doing this? And I think it's got to be really exciting for Celtics fans when you see those small glimpses and to know eventually it'll start to be more consistent. And dude flirted with a triple-double in his first night back. The point total goes back up to, 20. And we'll see where it goes from here. But I don't know if someone had told us that these were going to be the stat lines for the first two games, God, I think he would have taken it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. I think it was Adam Himmelsbach who asked him after the game as well about kind of sitting for those long stretches because he came out midway through the third and didn't go back in until midway through the fourth. I think it felt like a solid 12 minutes of game time that he was off the floor. And when he came back in, as good as the opening stretch was, when you think about the last 5 minutes of the game,
defensively,
he had 6 points, had that great take to the basket, and then hit the three right after it. I thought that was really encouraging as well for him to sit down for that long period of time, be able to get back in, and maybe it did take him a minute or two when he did in the fourth quarter, but he got there and had some clutch buckets.
And it's so funny because you guys can probably see it when you're watching from home, but he's going to the bike, he's trying to stay loose. It's not easy. Just again, you're trying to make sure he doesn't tighten up. It's just he's not used to this. This is a guy that perpetually plays, who plays 40 minutes every night. I love that. It's almost, he even said, I gotta be okay with it. I'm just happy to be playing basketball, but he wants to be out there for longer minutes already. Curious how they'll navigate this road trip. That Oklahoma City is super physical. We'll see. As Jason said the other night, they have a plan, and I think the plan is to pick their spots and tread cautiously. But it's also Jason Tatum, so they might just turn him loose and let him rip. But defensively, the other night I think the Mavericks were 2 of 10 shooting when he was the main defender. The numbers should be good again tonight. I forgot. I just forgotten how good of a defensive rebounder he was. And it wasn't a huge – he was swooping in early tonight. Only ends up with 3 rebounds. But the way he can help them there is going to be super impactful.
How do you see this playing out? Because I think even after he played on Friday night, I was curious. Okay, is he going to pop up as questionable on Saturday's injury report? Is it going to be
not even there?
Wasn't there at all. Came out, played obviously the 27 minutes in the win over Cleveland. I guess based on that, I got to expect that he's going to be back out there on Tuesday, back out there on Thursday, which is not what I thought it was going to look like before his return on Friday.
I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm going to look at what the first back-to-back is. I think it's not until April, which might give him the ability to navigate these first 10, 12 games where if he wants to play. And I think some of it will be dictated by how is the body feeling as the minute restriction starts to loosen a little bit and he's playing 32, 34 minutes. I suspect he'll be pretty sore. When you go up against an Oklahoma City, he's super physical. I still think they're going to try to find him some spots in here. Yeah, so the first back-to-back is March 29th and 30th, Charlotte and Atlanta. There is a couple days off the week before leading up to the second Oklahoma City game. So I wonder if, there will be one in there, and maybe he just pops up as questionable, and maybe plays, and maybe they give him a night off. I don't think he's going to play all 20 games, but every minute you got him out there, every minute that he can share the floor, especially with Jaylen Brown, and I know he said that he has all this chemistry with all these guys, but he really hasn't played a lot with Nemi. There are new players here that he just has to get used to, that have to get used to him. Like Nemi the other night just didn't seem ready for how perfect the passes were.
Yeah.
And if they smooth that out, it's just a whole nother level this team can go to. But like you said, I don't think there's any roadmap for this. I think it's so much it's going to be just an open conversation between here's how I'm feeling today. Even after the games, I bet they huddle and say, all right, this worked for me. Like coming back after 5 minutes really worked for me, but sitting for 12 really put a stress on me, and I didn't feel like myself. It's just such a luxury. He seems to be smiling all the time to be back out there.
And as we have this whole conversation about Jason Tatum, just on this game as a whole, I thought it was just a really good team win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like in the third quarter when Jaylen Brown was really, he was the leader of that group, but it was him and Peyton Pritchard and Baylor Shireman and Sam Hauser just knocking down some huge shots when Cleveland was trying to make a push to get back into it. It really did take everyone on the floor for them to get the win, even though it felt like they were in control just about the entire way. But they got contributions across the board, which I think is great. I understand we're going to talk about Jason Tatum a lot, and we should. But just not to be overlooked is I thought that was a really good team win.
Even just Jaylen Brown. So the first quarter, because Jason's so impactful and taking a bunch of shots, I'm thinking, poor JB is kind of back in the corner at times. But then he took the baton, and especially in that third quarter where as Cleveland's trying to make a run, knocking down all those mid-range jumpers and being active on the glass and getting everyone else involved. And so it's Jaylen tonight that flirts with the triple-double. And it's a reminder, there's still enough shots for everybody here, that everyone can have their moments where they take over. I kind of love that Joe is taking moments where Jaylen and Jason are both off the court. And so now Derek and Peyton feel empowered. It really is. Depth is super important to navigate the regular season. As things start to crunch, and even tonight, what do they play? They only play 9 guys total, and Ugo only plays 7 minutes. This is probably as close to a playoff rotation as we're going to see. And once Tatum's at his normal minutes, maybe Ugo's even getting squeezed out of that. Maybe you're at 8 guys, and Garza, even as the backup big, only plays 11 minutes. So I think we know there's credit to Baylor Shireman for being the guy who has carved out a role even as he goes to the bench. Sam Hauser was great in this one. He kind of nailed it, top to bottom. This was impressive.
And Baylor Shireman's one of those guys where at the beginning of the season you wondered what is his future with the Celtics?
Yeah.
How does he fit into things? You probably go through the first month or so of the season, you're still asking that question, and he's been the guy that's kind of stuck in that spot. Joe's gone to a rotation of guys. You had Josh Minot in there at times. You had
Jordan
Walsh
to Shireman, Ugo occasional spot starts.
But Shireman feels like he's really stuck, and
Yes.
he's kind of earned that spot.
And so the other thing lingering over this is not that I would ever tell you to switch away from our network, but because our halftime shows are much better, especially on these national broadcasts. But so this was an Inside the NBA night. And so if you decided to stick with Shaq and Kenny and all them, Charles, I understand it. They were showing highlights, and Baylor Shireman leaks out for a dunk, which was hilarious, too, because Ugo gave him a double thumbs down on the bench, even though it was definitely a thumbs-up dunk. And Shaq says, I don't know who that is. Even though Baylor started 12 games for the Celtics this year, even though he's one of the rotation guys. I know it's Shaq's thing to who he played for and all that.
Yeah.
But he said Shaq's line was something like, "I've never been scored on by a Baylor or a Shilerman," and I think maybe it's time to start learning Baylor Shilerman's name.
Or just don't, just keep sleeping on it. That's fine. That seems to be working quite well. It doesn't matter. I
don't know how you don't know the guy who has a mullet and goatee, whose look I've pretty much co-opted. And I enjoy the Baylor Shireman experience. Just a small kid from Nebraska. Just a kid from a small town in Nebraska. It's a real testament, though. I mean, Scale keeps saying it. There was points this year, even coming in. Forget even coming into the year when there was question marks about everybody, but like at the start of the year, as Jordan Walsh is blossoming, as Minot's doing stuff, it was fair to sit there and go, what is Baylor? Older kid coming out of college, like where did he fit? What could he do? I mean, he's like 10 rebounds a night is not anything that jumps off the page anymore because he's just so active.
And one of my favorite plays was the offensive rebound he had that led to the Sam Hauser three that gave him the 26-point lead, where he just tips it back out. I think it went to Pritchard first and then to Hauser. But he's just constantly just around the ball. Constantly.
Swooping in and just tapping it to keep it alive. Him and Ugo, just the way they keep possessions alive is great. And the way that he has embraced it. Joe said it after the game. He goes, Baylor doesn't care if he's starting, if he's coming off the bench. He just wants to go out there and compete. They've thrown him in a million different tough defensive situations. Hey, go guard James Harden tonight, and no one's going to be perfect with that, but he made him work. Some time on Donovan Mitchell. Like, these are not easy assignments, and Baylor just goes out there and does it on. So, great job, Shilerman. All right, I told you this was going to be a quick one because I need to get you out of here, and I kept you extra long. But a great win for the Celtics. Real quick, what do you expect on Tuesday night against Wemby and Co.?
I expect the Celtics to, because I think there's going to be a little bit of a revenge factor for that game against San Antonio. You remember the way that game ended?
100%.
Wemby just completely controlled like the last 5 minutes of that game, and it felt like the only shots the Celtics could get off were Derek White contested threes.
Yes.
That's all they could do in the last 5 minutes of that game because Wemby just decided you're not getting anything inside, totally deterred them from getting anywhere near the paint. And that resulted in the Spurs winning at TD Garden. So I think they're going to remember that. Like, I do think that the Celtics they get Jason Tatum back. They realize how good they can be, but I think they're still, out to prove it as well, especially against some of these Western Conference teams.
First player to try to go at him if he's at the rim. Jalen tried to go at him and dunk on him. Whatever. Even though Jalen was super, super complimentary the other day, saying, someone asked him about Wemby, and he said, "Look, I said I'm the best two-way player in the world. Jalen says I'm the best two-way human because what that is, Wemby is not human, alien form, and so he is the best two-way non-human life form." And like the league, I'm telling you, not a great situation for the rest of the league once Wemby kind of figures it all out. And even now as he's starting to figure it out, and the Spurs have been good, it's going to be a lot of fun. But this week will be super fun. We'll be back with you on Tuesday night. So go subscribe, go check us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.
See you.
Having a vehicle you can rely on, that's important. That's why you can rely on 24 Auto Group. They will treat you like family. And that's because they are family owned and operated. They're honest, easy to work with, and they just get it. Whether you're looking for something sporty, something luxurious, or just a solid everyday ride, 24 Auto Group always comes through. With 9 brands and 11 locations across New England, there's something for everyone. And here's the best part. They've got the knack to save you more on a new or pre-owned vehicle, and the knack to pay you more for your trade, up to $2,400 over book value. You can even drive home with just $24 down. So if you want the best deal without the runaround, go see my guys at 24 Auto Group, because you always get more at 24. Online at 24autogroup.com.